A dolphin can build a trap out of mud. A whale can manufacture a net from air. A fish can shoot insects out of trees without leaving the water. Chimpanzees can turn a forest chase into something resembling coordinated teamwork. And in Antarctica, killer whales can weaponize the ocean itself, creating waves powerful enough to knock seals from floating ice. None of these hunters carries tools in the human sense. They do something more interesting. They manipulate physics, terrain, timing, and each other. And the deeper you look, the stranger the pattern becomes. The smartest hunt is not always about being faster or stronger. Sometimes, it is about changing the rules of the battlefield. Start in the shallow waters of Florida, where bottlenose dolphins have been observed using a hunting technique that looks almost absurdly deliberate. One dolphin swims rapidly in a tight circle near the bottom, beating its tail and stirring sediment into the water. From above, a dark ring of mud begins to form. Inside that ring are fish, often mullet. Now imagine being one of those fish. Visibility suddenly disappears. The muddy wall closes around you. Your escape route seems obvious. Jump over it. That is exactly the problem. The dolphins position themselves outside the ring. When frightened fish leap from the muddy water, they can land directly within reach of waiting dolphins. The prey thinks it is escaping the trap, but the escape response is part of the trap. Bottlenose dolphins in the Florida Keys have been documented creating these mud rings and exploiting the fish that jump from them. Smithsonian Magazine. There is no rope, no cage, no manufactured net. Just sediment, geometry, and an accurate prediction of prey behavior. But dolphins are only warming up. Farther north, humpback whales perform one of the ocean's most spectacular cooperative feeding strategies. Beneath a school of small fish, one or more whales begin releasing streams of bubbles. Those bubbles rise, forming a circular or spiral curtain around the prey. Fish generally do not treat that curtain like harmless sparkling water. They bunch together. That is precisely what the whales need. The bubble wall concentrates scattered prey into a dense target. Then the humpbacks accelerate upward through the center, mouths open, engulfing huge quantities of fish and seawater before filtering the water through their baleen. Noah describes coordinated bubble net feeding as a method in which humpbacks use curtains of bubbles to condense prey, and the behavior may involve multiple whales working together. Noah Fisheries +1. Think about how strange that is. A humpback does not physically construct anything. It creates a temporary structure out of air. The structure lasts only seconds, but that is long enough to change where thousands of fish move. Humans invented fishing nets. Humpbacks discovered that bubbles can sometimes do the job. Now leave the ocean and enter an African forest, because the next hunt changes the meaning of teamwork. Chimpanzees are powerful individually, but hunting monkeys through a three-dimensional maze of branches creates a different problem. Their prey can leap between trees, change direction instantly, and escape upward. A single pursuer can be avoided. Several pursuers become much harder to read. Wild chimpanzees have repeatedly been observed hunting other primates, especially red colobus monkeys in some populations. Research shows that chimpanzee hunts can involve cooperation, and studies have described differentiated actions such as chasing prey, while other individuals block potential escape routes. PubMed Central, PMC, +1. Picture the chase. One chimpanzee pushes the target forward. Another moves toward a possible exit. A third climbs into a position that limits another route. The forest itself becomes part of the strategy. This does not mean every chimpanzee hunt follows a perfect human-style plan. Scientists debate exactly how intentional and role-based different hunts are, and behavior varies between populations. But coordinated participation can improve hunting effectiveness, and evidence supports genuinely cooperative hunting in several studied communities. PubMed Central, PMC, +1. In other words, they do not need a conference room. The branches are the meeting. Now shrink everything dramatically. Meet the archerfish. Its prey may be sitting above the water on a leaf or branch. That should be safe. The fish cannot climb. It cannot fly. It cannot reach the insect with its mouth. So it turns water into ammunition. An archerfish approaches the surface, aims upward, and fires a concentrated jet of water from its mouth. The stream strikes an insect above the surface. If the shot works, the insect loses its grip, falls into the water, and the fish rushes toward the landing point. This is already impressive, but the difficult part is not simply producing the jet. The fish is attacking across the boundary between water and air, where light bends through refraction. The target may also sit at different heights and angles. Yet archerfish can learn to make remarkably effective shots. The prey experiences what is essentially the natural world's smallest anti-aircraft system. And then we arrive at a predator that does not merely use water. It moves water. In Antarctic waters, some killer whales hunt seals resting on floating ice. A seal on a solid floe has an obvious advantage. The orcas cannot simply swim through the ice. So several whales line up. They accelerate toward the floe together. Then, near the target, they turn and dive in coordination. Their combined movement pushes a surge of water ahead of them. A wave rolls across the ice. The seal may be swept into the sea. Researchers and wildlife observers call this technique wave washing. Antarctic killer whales have been documented coordinating their movements to create waves powerful enough to wash seals from ice floes, and younger whales appear to learn hunting techniques from experienced pod members. National Geographic +1. Sometimes the first wave does not end the hunt. The whales may break or reduce the ice, reposition, and attack again. That detail matters because it reveals something beyond raw force. They are changing the environment step by step. The ice begins as protection. The whales turn it into a shrinking platform. And that connects every hunter in this story. The dolphin manipulates mud. The humpback manipulates bubbles. The chimpanzee manipulates positions and escape routes. The archerfish manipulates a jet of water. The killer whale manipulates waves. Their bodies matter, but intelligence appears in how those bodies are used. The cleverest predators do not simply chase prey harder. They create situations in which the prey's normal defenses become less useful. A jumping fish escapes danger and lands near a dolphin. A schooling fish hides among thousands and becomes concentrated by bubbles. A monkey escapes one chimpanzee and encounters another. An insect stays safely above water until the water comes to it. A seal climbs onto ice, only to discover that the ocean can climb onto the ice too. That may be the most fascinating lesson of animal hunting. Evolution does not always produce a sharper weapon. Sometimes, it produces a better idea.